Thanksgiving at the Carter family estate in Greenwich, Connecticut, was always an event. Crystal chandeliers, imported wine, catered food from Manhattan's finest restaurants. Mom treated it like a performance where everyone had a role to play. My role apparently was the disappointment. I'd driven up from New York City that Wednesday afternoon, hitting traffic on I-95 for 2 solid hours. My phone kept buzzing with work emails. Our Q4 numbers were exceeding projections, the Fortune photoshoot from last month was being finalized, and our Series C funding had just closed at a $380 million valuation. But none of that mattered as I pulled up to the house in my Tesla Model 3. Not the flashy one. Just the standard range. It did what I needed it to do. My brother Derek's Range Rover was already in the circular driveway. So was Dad's Mercedes S-Class and Aunt Patricia's Jaguar. I grabbed my overnight bag and headed inside. Sophie. Mom appeared in the foyer wearing a cream-colored cashmere sweater set and pearls. She looked me up and down with barely concealed disappointment. You're wearing that? I glanced at my outfit. Dark jeans, a black turtleneck and ankle boots. Hi Mom. Happy Thanksgiving. We have guests arriving in an hour. The Hendersons, the Marlows, the Chens from Dad's firm. Couldn't you have worn something more professional? I'm comfortable. She sighed the way she always did when I failed to meet her expectations. Well, at least come say hello to your father. He's in the study with Derek. The study smelled like leather and expensive scotch. Dad sat behind his mahogany desk. A partner at a white shoe law firm, he'd made his career representing Fortune 500 companies in mergers and acquisitions. Derek stood by the window, drink in hand, looking every inch the successful investment banker in his tailored suit. Sophie, Dad said without looking up from his laptop. How's the drive? Fine. Traffic wasn't too bad. Derek turned, smirking. Still driving that little Tesla? I thought you'd have upgraded by now. It gets me where I need to go. Barely. What's the range on those things? Like 250 miles. He swirled his scotch. I just picked up the new Range Rover. 400 horsepower, custom interior. That's a real car. Congratulations. How's the startup going? He said, startup, the way some people say, adorable. It's going well. Still doing that payment processing thing? What was it called again? PayBridge. Right. PayBridge. He shared a look with Dad. You know, my firm just advised on a fintech acquisition. Real company, $2 billion valuation. That's the kind of scale that matters in this industry. I'm aware. You really should think about getting a real job, Sophie. Goldman is always hiring. I could make a call. I'm good, thanks. Mom appeared in the doorway. Guests are arriving. Derek, go help your father greet them. Sophie, try to look enthusiastic, please. Thanksgiving dinner was exactly as excruciating as I'd anticipated. 14 people crammed around Mom's extended dining table. My parents, Derek and his wife Amanda, Aunt Patricia and Uncle George, my cousin Jennifer, and various family friends who'd known me since I was in braces. The conversation flowed through the usual topics. Dad's latest big case, Derek's promotion to managing director, Amanda's pregnancy announcement, Q's squealing and congratulations, Jennifer's engagement to a Harvard-educated surgeon. Then Mrs. Henderson turned to me with a kind smile. And Sophie dear, what are you up to these days? Still in New York? Yes, still in the city. She's doing a startup, Mom interjected quickly as if trying to get past an embarrassing topic. Some sort of online payment company. How interesting, Mrs. Henderson said. Like Venmo. Similar concept, but we focus on business-to-business payments. We help companies manage cash flow, process invoices and optimize payment timing. Derek laughed. She makes it sound so legitimate. It is legitimate, I said quietly. Sophie, honey. Mom set down her wine glass. Can we please not do this tonight? It's Thanksgiving. Do what? Talk about my company? Your company. Derek made air quotes. Mom's right. It's embarrassing. The table went quiet. Uncle George looked uncomfortable. Aunt Patricia suddenly became very interested in her cranberry sauce. Excuse me, I said. Come on, sophomore. Derek leaned back in his chair, warming to his subject. He'd had 3 glasses of wine and was feeling bold. We're family. We can be honest with each other. What you're doing isn't a real business. It's a hobby that's gone on way too long. Derek, Amanda said softly, touching his arm. He waved her off. No, someone needs to say it. You've been doing this for what, 5 years now? And what do you have to show for it? You live in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. You drive a base model Tesla. You dress like you shop at Target. Derek, that's enough, Dad said, but without much conviction. Is it? Because I'm tired of watching my little sister embarrass this family. The Hendersons are here. The Marlows. The Chens from Dad's firm. What are we supposed to tell them? Oh yes, our daughter plays entrepreneur with her little internet company. Mom nodded. Derek has a point, Sophie. This has gone on long enough. I set down my fork carefully. What exactly has gone on long enough? This pretending. Mom gestured vaguely. Sweetie, we love you. But you're 33 years old. You need to face reality. Your business is fake. It's time to stop embarrassing us and get a real job. The words hung in the air like a slap. Fake, I repeated. You know what I mean. You don't have an office. You work from coffee shops in your apartment. You've never shown us any financial statements, any proof that this company is actually making money. For all we know, you're living off credit cards and pretending everything is fine. I'm not living off credit cards. Then show us the numbers, Derek challenged. What's your revenue? Your profit margin? How many employees do you have? I have 340 employees. He snorted. 340 employees. Sure. And I'm the King of England. Derek, Dad said again, more firmly this time. This isn't appropriate dinner conversation. Why not? Because it's uncomfortable? Someone needs to tell Sophie the truth. Her fake business is embarrassing. She's embarrassing. And I'm sick of pretending otherwise. I looked around the table. Mrs. Henderson was staring at her plate. Mr. Marlowe was refilling his wine glass. Aunt Patricia looked like she wanted to disappear. Nobody was defending me. You're right, I said quietly, standing up. This isn't appropriate dinner conversation. Excuse me. I walked out of the dining room, grabbed my coat from the hall closet and headed for my car. Mom caught up with me in the driveway. Sophie, wait. Where are you going? Back to the city. You're leaving? It's Thanksgiving. And I just got called embarrassing and fake in front of your dinner guest. I think I'm done. Honey, Derek didn't mean it like that. He's just worried about you. We all are. I unlocked my car. You think my business is fake? You think I'm embarrassing? There's nothing left to say. Sophie, please. Just come back inside. We can talk about this. No, Mom. We really can't. I drove back to Brooklyn with tears blurring my vision. Not because they'd hurt my feelings, though they had. But because after 5 years of building something incredible, my own family had looked at me and seen nothing but failure. The thing is, they weren't completely wrong to have been skeptical 5 years ago. In 2020, I'd quit my job as a financial analyst at JP Morgan Chase to start PayBridge. Everyone thought I was insane. I'd had a 6-figure salary, excellent benefits, a clear path to VP. And I'd walked away from it all to chase what Derek called a payment processing pipe dream. The first year was brutal. I burned through $85,000 in savings. I lived on ramen and coffee. I coded until 3 a.m. most nights, teaching myself Python and SQL because I couldn't afford to hire developers. But I'd seen a gap in the market. Small and medium-sized businesses were drowning in late payments and poor cash flow management. The existing solutions were either too expensive or too complicated. I wanted to build something simple, affordable, and actually useful. PayBridge launched in 2021 with exactly one client, a struggling furniture manufacturer in Queens who owed me a favor. We processed $47,000 in payments that first month. Then word spread. By the end of 2021, we had 200 clients and were processing $12 million monthly. By 2022, we had 2,000 clients and $127 million in monthly transaction volume. By 2023, we'd expanded to 8,500 clients, hired 180 employees, and were processing over $400 million monthly. This year, 2025, we had 15,000 clients, 340 employees, and were processing $1.3 billion in monthly transactions. Our annual revenue was $127 million. We just closed a Series C funding round at a $380 million valuation. 2 weeks ago, I'd done a 6-hour photo shoot for Fortune magazine's CEO of the Year feature. They were profiling 40 CEOs under 40 who were transforming American business. The magazine was set to hit newsstands tomorrow, Black Friday. But I'd never told my family any of this. Not because I was hiding it, but because they'd never asked. They'd seen my small apartment, my unremarkable car, my casual clothes, and decided I was failing. And I'd let them believe it because part of me wanted to see how long it would take them to actually show interest in what I was building. 5 years. The answer was 5 years, and they still didn't care enough to ask real questions. I got back to my apartment in Park Slope around 11 p.m. It was a 1-bedroom, 850 square feet, with hardwood floors and a view of Prospect Park. I'd bought it outright in 2023 for $1.2 million. No mortgage, no landlord. Just mine. My phone had been buzzing nonstop. I'd ignored it during the drive, but now I scrolled through the messages. 15 texts from Mom. 8 texts from Dad. 3 texts from Derek. 1 text from Aunt Patricia. I opened Aunt Patricia's first. Aunt Patricia. Sophie, I'm so sorry about tonight. Derek was completely out of line. Your mother shouldn't have let it continue. I hope you're okay. Call me if you need to talk. At least someone in my family had a conscience. I scrolled to Derek's messages. Derek, you're being dramatic. Derek, it's Thanksgiving. Come back. Derek, fine, be that way. But you know I'm right. I deleted them without responding. Mom's messages were variations on a theme. Please come back. You're overreacting. Derek had too much wine. We love you. Dad's messages were shorter. Your mother is upset. Call her. I turned off my phone and poured myself a glass of wine. Tomorrow was going to be interesting. Black Friday morning, I woke to my phone exploding. I turned it back on at 7 a.m. to check work emails, and immediately the notifications started flooding in. Aunt Patricia, Sophie. Is this you? Photo attached. The photo was the Fortune magazine cover. There I was, photographed in our office headquarters in Manhattan, sitting at my desk with the New York skyline behind me. The headline read, CEO of the Year, 40 under 40. And in smaller text, Sophie Carter, 33, built a $127 million fintech empire that's revolutionizing B2B payments. Aunt Patricia. I'm at your parents' house for breakfast. I just opened Fortune magazine. Your mother's face is white. Call me immediately. I grinned and poured myself coffee. My work phone started ringing. It was my CEO, Michael. Have you seen the Fortune cover? He asked. Not in person yet. Is it out? Sophie, it's everywhere. Twitter is exploding. LinkedIn is going crazy. Our website traffic is up 400% in the last hour. We've gotten 47 new client inquiries since 6 a.m. That's amazing. Amazing? It's insane. The PR team is freaking out. In a good way. They want to schedule interviews. Forbes wants a follow-up. TechCrunch wants an exclusive. Bloomberg. Send me the list. I'll review it this afternoon. You're eerily calm about this. I knew the cover was coming, Michael. Yeah, but did you know it would blow up like this? They're calling you the quiet giant of fintech. They're comparing you to the Stripe founders. Let's not get carried away. I'm serious. This is huge. You should come into the office. The team wants to celebrate. I'll be there in an hour. I hung up and checked my personal phone again. 32 new messages. Mom. Sophie, Aunt Patricia just showed me a magazine. Is this real? Mom, why didn't you tell us? Mom, call me right now. Derek, what the hell? Derek. Is that Fortune magazine cover actually you? Derek. Sophie, call me. Dad, your mother is very upset. We need to talk about this Fortune article. Jennifer. Cousin. I just saw the cover. Oh my God. Why didn't you tell anyone? Amanda. Derek's wife Sophie, I'm so proud of you. That cover is incredible. Derek is processing. Call when you can. I ignored them all and got ready for work. The PayBridge offices occupied the 14th and 15th floors of a building in Midtown Manhattan. Glass walls, standing desks, a full kitchen, and a view of Bryant Park. We'd moved here in 2023 when our team outgrew our previous space in Brooklyn. When I walked in at 9 a.m., the entire office erupted in applause. There she is. Michael shouted. CEO of the Year. Someone had printed the Fortune cover and blown it up to poster size. It was hanging in the main conference room with a banner that read, "We always knew." My head of engineering, Lisa, handed me a mimosa. "You're a celebrity now. How does it feel?" "Surreal." "Surreal? Sophie, you're on the cover of Fortune magazine. With your revenue numbers. Your valuation. Your face. This is going to change everything." She wasn't wrong. By noon, we'd received 200+ client inquiries, 15 interview requests, and a dozen invitations to speak at conferences. Our investor relations team was fielding calls from VCs who suddenly wanted to talk about our Series D plans. The publicity was overwhelming. And perfect. At 2 p.m. my personal phone rang. I'd been expecting this. "Hi, Mom. Sophie Marie Carter." Her voice was shaking. "I am sitting here with Aunt Patricia and she just showed me a Fortune magazine with your face on the cover. Is this some kind of joke?" "It's not a joke. It says you run a $127 million company. It says you have 340 employees. It says you're revolutionizing the fintech industry." "All true. Then why?" Her voice broke. "Why didn't you tell us?" "You never asked, Mom." "That's not fair. You never said." "I tried to. Multiple times. But every time I mentioned PayBridge, you dismissed it. You called it a hobby. Derek called it embarrassing. You literally told me last night that my business was fake." Silence. "Is Dad there?" I asked. "He's reading the article right now. Sophie, this says you raised $85 million in funding. It says you're processing over $1 billion in transactions monthly. How is this possible?" "Because I'm good at what I do." "But you live in a tiny apartment. You drive a regular car. You dress so casually." "I live in an 850 square foot apartment in Park Slope that I own outright. I drive a Tesla because it's efficient and reliable. I dress casually because I'm comfortable and my clients don't care what I wear. None of those things have anything to do with whether my business is successful." "Derek is here," Mom said quietly. "He wants to talk to you." "I don't want to talk to Derek." "Sophie, please. He feels terrible about last night. Put him on." There was rustling, then Derek's voice. He sounded different. Subdued. "Sophie, I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything." "I'm sorry. About last night. I was drunk and stupid and completely out of line. You called my business fake. You called me embarrassing. In front of Mom and Dad's friends." "I know. I'm an idiot. I had no idea. None of us did. Why didn't you tell us?" "I tried to, Derek. Every time I came home I talked about PayBridge. But you never listened. You heard startup and decided I was failing. You never asked about revenue or clients or growth. You just assumed." "You're right. I did assume. And I was completely wrong." He paused. "The article says you're processing $1.3 billion monthly. That's more than my entire division at the bank handles." "I know. It also says you turned down acquisition offers from JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs." "I did. 3 times from JP Morgan, twice from Goldman. They wanted to buy PayBridge for $200 million, $290 million, and $380 million respectively. I said no every time." "Why?" "Because we're worth more than that. And because I'm not building this company to sell it. I'm building it to last." Derek was quiet for a long moment. "I'm proud of you, Sophie. I should have said that years ago. I'm sorry I didn't." "I appreciate that. Can you come back up? For the weekend? Everyone wants to see you." "I have work, Derek. We just got 200 new client inquiries because of the Fortune cover. I need to be here." "Right. Of course. Work." He sounded genuinely disappointed. "Will you at least call Mom back? She's devastated that she didn't know." "I'll think about it." I hung up and turned off my phone. The weekend was a blur of interviews, client calls, and team celebrations. By Monday, the Fortune cover had been shared over 50,000 times on social media. We'd gotten 800+ client inquiries and hired a dedicated PR firm to manage the media requests. Monday afternoon, a flower delivery arrived at my apartment. 24 white roses with a card. "Sophie, I'm so sorry. We should have believed in you. We should have asked. We should have known. Please forgive us. We love you. Mom, Dad, and Derek." I put the flowers in a vase and didn't call them back. Tuesday a package arrived. Inside was a handwritten letter from Mom. Dear Sophie, I've spent the past 4 days reading everything I can find about PayBridge. The Fortune article, the TechCrunch features, the Bloomberg coverage, the case studies from your clients. I've watched your keynote speech from FinTech Summit 2024. I've read the Glassdoor reviews from your employees, all overwhelmingly positive. I'm ashamed that I had to learn about my own daughter's success from a magazine. You were right at Thanksgiving. We never asked. We saw what we wanted to see, a struggling entrepreneur who needed our guidance. We never looked deeper. We never took you seriously. Derek is mortified. He's told everyone at his firm about you. Apparently, his managing director has been trying to get a meeting with you for months. Small world. Your father wants to invest in your next funding round. I told him that's probably not appropriate and also that you don't need our money. What you need is our belief. Our respect. Our genuine interest in what you've built. I know we don't deserve it, but I'm asking for another chance. Not to celebrate your success, though we do want to celebrate, but to actually know you. To understand what drives you. To be the family you deserve. Please come to Christmas. No pressure, no performances, no guests. Just us. Let us try to do better. Love, Mom. I read the letter 3 times. Then I called her. Sophie. She answered on the first ring. Oh honey, thank God. I wasn't sure you'd call. I got your letter. Did you read it? Yes. And? I'll come to Christmas. But Mom, if I come, things have to be different. They will be. I promise. What do you need? I need you to actually listen when I talk about my work. I need you to ask real questions, not just nod politely. I need you to stop measuring my success by what car I drive or what apartment I live in. Done. Absolutely. What else? I need Derek to understand that his world isn't the only version of success. Investment banking is great. But it's not better than what I'm doing. Just different. He knows that now. Trust me, he knows. And I need Dad to stop offering to help with connections or introductions. I've built this company without his help. I'm proud of that. I understand. Anything else? Yeah. I need you to be proud of me, not because Fortune magazine validated what I'm doing, but because I'm doing work that matters. I'm helping businesses survive. I'm creating jobs. I'm building something meaningful. That should have been enough for you to be proud, with or without a magazine cover. Mom's voice cracked. You're right. It should have been. And I am proud, Sophie. Not because of Fortune, but because you're my daughter and you're extraordinary. I just wish I'd realized it sooner. Me too. So you'll come to Christmas? I'll come. But just for 2 days. I have a company to run. 2 days is perfect. Thank you, honey. Thank you for giving us another chance. Christmas was different. I arrived on December 23rd to find the house decorated normally. No guests, no performance, no caterer. Just Mom's homemade cooking and family. Derek greeted me at the door with a hug. Hey, sophomore. Thanks for coming. Thanks for not calling me embarrassing. He winced. Yeah, about that. I'm going to be apologizing for that for the rest of my life, aren't I? Probably. Amanda appeared behind him, visibly pregnant now. Sophie. That Fortune cover is framed in Derek's office. He shows it to everyone. I do not, Derek protested. You absolutely do, she laughed. He's told the story at least 50 times. My little sister is CEO of the year. I smiled despite myself. Dad came out of his study. Sophie. Good to see you. Hi, Dad. I read the Fortune article. Impressive work. Very impressive. Thank you. I'd love to hear more about your business model over dinner. The payment optimization piece is fascinating. I have some questions about your approach to credit risk assessment. I blinked. You actually read the article? I read everything I could find, including your interview with Bloomberg and your presentation at the FinTech Summit. You've built something remarkable. I don't know what to say. Say you'll explain how you managed to scale from 2,000 clients to 15,000 clients in 3 years while maintaining a 98% retention rate. That's extraordinary in the fintech space. And just like that, we were talking. Actually talking. About models and metrics and market positioning. About the challenges of scaling a payments platform. About regulatory compliance and competitive moats. It was the first real conversation we'd had about my work in 5 years. Mom made pot roast and mashed potatoes. My favorite. Over dinner they asked about my employees, my investors, my plans for expansion. Derek shared stories from his banking world without the condescension I'd grown used to. Aunt Patricia asked if she could invest in my Series D. "You want to invest?" I asked, surprised. "If you'll have me. I have some money set aside. I've always wanted to invest in startups and I can't think of a better bet than you." "Aunt Patricia, our minimum investment for the Series D will probably be $500,000. "I have it." I stared at her. "You have $500,000 you want to invest in PayBridge?" "I have $1 million. I was going to split it between you and a few other opportunities, but if you'd prefer the full amount, let me send you the investment materials. Talk to your financial advisor. Make sure it's the right move for you." "Already did." She said if the Fortune magazine profile was accurate, this was a no-brainer. By the end of the weekend, I'd had more meaningful conversations with my family than in the previous 5 years combined. On Christmas evening, Derek pulled me aside. "Can I show you something?" he asked. He led me to his old bedroom, which Mom had converted to a guest room. On the desk was a framed photo from Thanksgiving. Not the awful Thanksgiving where he'd called me embarrassing, but from 2019, the year before I'd started PayBridge. We were both laughing at something Dad had said, young and careless. "I keep this here as a reminder," Derek said quietly. "Of what?" "Of how badly I screwed up. I had a sister who was building something incredible and I was too arrogant to see it. Too caught up in my own definition of success to recognize anyone else's." "Derek, let me finish." When I saw that Fortune cover, my first emotion wasn't pride. It was shame. Because I realized I'd been treating you like a failure when you were succeeding beyond anything I'll ever accomplish. "That's not true. You're a managing director at..." "I'm a cog in a machine, Sophie. A well-paid cog but still a cog. You built the machine. There's a difference. Both things matter." "Maybe. But I should have respected what you were doing. I should have been curious instead of dismissive. I should have been your biggest cheerleader, not your harshest critic." I put my hand on his shoulder. "You can start now." "I already have. I've been telling everyone at the bank about PayBridge. We're actually looking at using your platform for some of our mid-market clients' payment processing. I gave your COO's contact info to our head of business development." "You did?" "I did. And Sophie? When I tell people my sister is the CEO of PayBridge, the CEO of the year according to Fortune magazine, the woman who built a $127 million fintech empire from nothing, I've never been more proud to be your brother." 6 months after the Fortune cover dropped, PayBridge closed its Series D funding round at a $740 million valuation. Aunt Patricia invested $1 million. We used the funding to expand internationally, launching in Canada, the UK, and Australia. By the end of 2026, we were processing $2.3 billion in monthly transactions with 25,000 clients and 580 employees. Annual revenue hit $247 million. Derek's bank became a client. He still jokes that his little sister is technically his vendor now. Mom frames every article written about PayBridge and sends them to relatives with handwritten notes. "This is my daughter. Dad joined our advisory board. He doesn't get paid for it, he does it because he's genuinely interested in what we're building." Last month, Forbes ran a follow-up feature. A year after her CEO of the Year cover, Sophie Carter is just getting started. The opening line read, "While most CEOs chase headlines, Sophie Carter chased excellence." The headlines came anyway. They interviewed my family for the piece. Mom said, "We underestimated her for too long. We won't make that mistake again." Derek said, "My sister taught me that quiet confidence builds empires. Loud criticism builds nothing." I framed both quotes and hung them in my office. Not because I needed their validation, though it was nice to finally have it, but because they were true. And because the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's building something so undeniable that their opinions become irrelevant.